As play began today, Kirk Sarlos was making his first start since last Saturday, so it was a week between starts. And in last Saturday's game at Atlanta, in which he received a no decision, he had given up a 2-run homer to Andrew Jones that ended a stretch of 47 in the third innings without giving up a homer. The only other one had come off his offerings back in the middle of April by Vlad Guerrero of the Angels. So imagine the surprise when Rollins, after taking ball one, unloaded. Rollins one hit in last night's game, swings and drives it to right field. A well-hit ball, sending Kelty back. He turns and watches it fly for a home run. Jimmy Rollins hits his 6th home run of the year, pulling it over the barrier at the base of the steps in right field, and it's 1-0, 2 pitches into the game.
Well, for Kirk Sarlos to be successful, he has to keep the ball down. He elevated it to Rollins, and as a leadoff hitter, you take some pitches, but if you get a good one you like, you swing, and he did.
Phillies had a lot of base runners today. They had 9 hits off Sarlos in his 6 and a third innings. He walked 4, 2 of them intentionally, but the A's came up with plays, and Sarlos came up with pitches that made the plays possible. For example, after the Rollins homer, Lofton cracked a single to center field, but then the dangerous Bobby Abreu hit into a double play, and the inning went on uneventfully. After a leadoff walk in the second inning to Tomey, Chase Utley was induced to ground into a double play. Dan Johnson at first to the shortstop Bobby Crosby. And in that second inning, right after the double play, Eric Chavez had a chance to chip in from the defensive side with Jason Michaels at the plate. And that's ripped, and great play at third base by Eric Chavez, up and backhanded and snaring it to rob Jason Michaels, and the inning ends. We go to the bottom half of the second inning, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia. A's weren't doing that much with Corey Lytle, as when they did have an opportunity, they couldn't convert. In their second, they had a walk and a single with 1 out, but Lytle shut things down from that point on. Then in the Philadelphia third, Lieberthal opened with a double, and once again, everybody figures this hard-hitting, number 3 scoring team in the National League is going to put some more on the board. But with Ramon Martinez at the plate, the ability to get the ground ball helped Sarlos get himself out of a jam. And tomorrow, bouncer to the mound, Sarlos has it, getting a rundown now on Lieberthal. It goes to Crosby, who flips to Chavez, who makes the tag out, throw to second, out, going to second base. And the A's get a double play out of it as Martinez is gunned down. 1-6-5-4. Sarlos went up on the high hopper, pulled it down. Lieberthal was too far off second. Sarlos ran at him, then threw to Crosby, who ran him toward third, tossing to Chavez for the tag, and Chavez gunned it back to Scudero, who had the ball waiting for the sliding hitter Martinez. But the Phillies would have a further threat in the inning when Rollins singled and stole second base with Lofton up, but Sarlos got Lofton to ground out and end that threat. Meantime, the Athletics, as we mentioned, were not doing that much against Lytle, and again, the Phillies kept pecking away one way or the other. Abreu drew a walk to start the fourth inning. He was still at first with 1 out when the veteran Tomey was up, and the A's needed some more good defense to keep the Phillies off the board. There's a drive into left center field. Nobody's playing there. That'll go all the way to the wall. And around second base, coming to third is Abreu. He gets the go-ahead. Here comes the throw from Crosby. It's offline. The tag. Out! A sliding effort by Abreu, but he is cut down on an outstanding throw from short left center field. Outstanding in strength. It sailed a bit off to the foul side of the plate, but it was strong enough that Kendall was able to grab it and adjust to make the tag of the sliding Abreu. Tomey at second base with a double.
Well, Jason Kendall reached out, one-handed catch the ball, reached back with the glove, tagged him, and Kirk Sarlos with another pump of the fist. As another great defensive play by the A's.
8-6-2. They gave Utley an intentional walk at that point, and again, a ground ball into the inning off the bat of Jason Michaels, and Sarlos once again denying the Phillies. In the bottom half of the fourth inning, the A's came a bit to life at the plate as Crosby hacked a single to left field, and Eric Chavez followed it up, and that was a double down the left field line, and suddenly second and third, and great prospects at foot for the Athletics. Scott Hatterberg at the plate against the veteran Lytle, worked a full count.
Lytle checks for his sign. He's got it. And the 3-2 pitch is swung on. It bounced to the hole and threw into left for a base hit. That'll score Crosby. Chavez holds it third on a single to left by Hatterberg. And we're all tied up at 1-1. Good piece of hitting.
That is outstanding, Eddie, because Scott Hatterberg was not going to get a pitch that he could hit to the right side. Instead, got a pitch up, went with it, hit it hard enough past Rollins, and he accomplished, in essence, what he wanted to do.
Burns then popped out for the first out. Chavez still at third base with a go-ahead run, and it was Dan Johnson at the plate.
Now, Lieberthal sets up in. It's on the way, and it's swung on, hit down the right field line in the corner. A long run for Michael, still racing, and makes the catch, but that'll score the run. Chavez tags from third and scores. Holding it first is Hatterberg. Dan Johnson delivers a sac fly to right field as the A's have taken a 2-1 lead. So the kid got the ball airborne and did the job.
Lytle actually, from the time of the Hatterberg single, retired 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 out of 16 batters, allowing only a walk to Kotsay in the fifth, and then his last batter faced in the eighth inning, he hit Bobby Crosby. As it turned out, the A's certainly had to make that run hold up because there wasn't going to be that much more offense, and once again, defense to the rescue. This came in the sixth inning for Philadelphia. Utley was at first base. There was one out, and Michaels at the plate.
Center field, Kotsay 2 steps toward left center, and this ball is driven to right center field. Kotsay racing in the alley, reaching up, and makes a great running catch. And Utley's all the way around second base. He's not going to get back. The throw comes to Dan Johnson, and it's a double play. Mark Kotsay was shaded toward left center, outran the baseball, a running backhanded catch at the base of the track. Chase Utley, who began the sequence at first base, had already rounded second. He was going to third, and Kotsay fired the ball back to first on a bounce to Dan Johnson, and the A's get an 8-3 double play, and that's how the top of the sixth inning comes to an end. And we go to the bottom of the sixth. A's 2, Phillies 1.
And the Phils continued to nip at the heels of the Athletics when Lieberthal singled to open the seventh and was sacrificed up by Martinez. And at that point, with the tying run at second base, the call went to Ricardo Rincon to come in and face Rollins and then Lofton. He got Rollins on a ground ball to third, keeping the runner at second. And then the pesky Lofton, who came in batting .378 and already had 2 hits, was the guy that the Phillies probably would like to have up there as much as anybody. Eric Burns finally retired him.
3-2, 2 out, runner at second, 2-1 A's, top of the seventh. Lefty against lefty. Outfield plays Lofton the other way. Rincon checks and deals, and it's swung on and popped up. Short left field, going out is Crosby, coming on is Burns, and in foul territory, makes a staggering running backhanded catch. Lofton pops out. Lieberthal left at second. We go to the bottom of the seventh, 2-1 A's.
And in the eighth inning, Rincon remained on the mound. He got Abreu, the tough left-handed hitter, to ground out. Burrow hit a smoking line drive back to the mound, but it was stabbed by Rincon, and then he struck out Jim Thome. That was the first 1-2-3 inning without a base runner the Phillies had experienced all day long. And the A's, in their half of the eighth inning, they got a runner aboard on the 2-out hit batsman, Crosby getting aboard. Real Cormier came in, and Chavez reached on an error. The A's had 2 on, hoping to get an insurance run, but Hatterberg flied out, so it was going to be 1 run to get it done, and no Houston Street. Rincon stayed in, and Utley was the man he faced leading off in the inning. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and Rincon does the job on Utley, and that's the cue for Ken Maka to emerge from the dugout, point to the bullpen. Justin Dukeshire touches the fingers to the rosin down there and starts the journey to the hill as the A's need 2 outs to even this series. And with a chance for his first ever Major League save beckoning, he got Michaels to ground out routinely to short, leaving Lieberthal the last hope of Philadelphia. Dukeshire takes the sign. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He wheels, he deals, and it's popped up on the infield, shallow right, fighting the sun. Scudero back and makes the catch. And the A's have evened the series in a tightly played, excellent ball game this afternoon. The final score, as Dukeshire gets the final 2 outs, is the A's 2 and the Phillies 1. And for those of you who might have joined us a little bit late in the wrap-up show, the unavailability of Houston Street was due to a strained muscle in the leg incurred sometime during pregame workouts, about which we didn't know. We could only surmise when Ducher came up and became the closer for the afternoon. Kirk Saarloos went 6 1/3, his longest stint as a member of the Athletics here today. It was his 12th start of the year. He'll talk about the game with